Hello, everybody. Happy November 7th, 2020. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on today's show, I'm pleased to have the Bacon Academy senior wide receiver, Nicholas Nunez. Nicholas, it's great to have you on, man.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Nick, I think looking at kind of this pandemic and how much it's really affected everybody, all the way down from the sports to the schools and you name it, for yourself in particular, how did you deal with when when the country and the state in particular was shut down? How did you kind of keep yourself in shape, but also mentally as well?
I think I was kind of blessed because of who I know and where I'm from. Jawan Johnson, Peter Gazibwe, and Marcus Outlaw really kind of, we're all kind of like a family. Like we all keep in touch with each other. So they definitely had me on the field or in the weight room that they had, and they just made sure I kept the mindset like once the season comes, I need to showcase everything I can because we might not get an opportunity again.
Would you say that they kind of kept you, like you mentioned, kind of motivated and made sure you didn't lose sight of the prize? Because I know during the pandemic, there were some athletes that kind of took it for granted and probably lost some steps and maybe didn't train as hard. But others like yourself knew, well, that's a chance for me to be able to take advantage.
Yeah, 100%. Jawan, like, as a receiver, he just told me, like, a lot of people aren't out here working. A lot of people want to enjoy their summer or it's a pandemic, they're just trying to sit in the house and relax. And he told me I got to separate myself because, in different states, like, they're still out there working.
I almost felt like because of the pandemic, you could really have a separator, the ones who are
Mhm.
taking advantage of the ones that aren't. And then that way that maybe can kind of help close the gap, which at the time I thought there was going to be a season, at least a normal 11 on 11. But
Mhm.
as we'll get to in a minute, the back and forth, we'll play, we won't play, we will, we won't play. How was it psychologically for you to kind of go through all that stress?
Uh, truthfully, it was horrible. Being at home and you're excited and you're pumped up, you're telling family, hey, like, man, I played in London week one type thing. And then they say it's canceled. And then they say, all right, well, we're going to do something to make sure you guys can still have film. So, I just try to stay ready to play whatever it was just so I can ball out.
How was the morale and the talk amongst the players and the Bacon Academy staff when all of this was going down as far as there being football, then not, and the back and forth? How was that?
I think the best thing about this was we had a new coach this year. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like we had this, this thing that we all knew when we come in and it was so different. It was already different when we got there. So
Mhm.
Coach Farnsworth came in and he just had us work. He said, let's treat it like it's a regular season because it is. We're going out there to compete and win games, and that's all that matters.
Geez, well, first year as a head coach. Welcome to high school football. Oh, by the way,
Exactly. Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah. No, he had came from Ledger, and I know he did great things over there. But just to come over to a new program, and
Mhm.
you're in the midst of a pandemic. Life is already hard as it is. So
Hey, at least he can say, hopefully, this is the hardest thing he's ever going to have to deal with as a head
yeah,
coach.
exactly. Yeah, and he handled it pretty well. I'm proud of him. So it was awesome.
Like I think if there's any opponents that you guys face or have struggled against over the last couple of years, that should be easy peasy compared to this.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
No, nothing
Now,
compares.
yeah, exactly. Now, kind of looking at yourself in particular, I know this was a big season because I know you haven't been really getting a lot of looks. I know you messaged me, and I really like the fact you said, I'm not getting looked. I feel like I'm being overlooked rather, but
Mhm.
I'm fast, I'm quick, I'm twitchy, I'm a slot guy. I can really make
Yeah.
people miss. And I watched some of your film, and the proof is in the pudding. You do that. So for you, how working with the 7-on-7s and just trying to do any which way to get film out there, how has that been like?
At first I was kind of embarrassed to put the film out because it's a passing league. As a coach, I'm not going to sit here and watch a kid's film. It's a passing league. It's backyard football. But
Mhm.
if you watch the film, I get open. Like these receivers and these DBs, we're working. We're not just out here slapping high fives. We want to compete. We want to show that we can, play at a higher level. So, for me, it was just okay. This is what I've done against guys. And if we were in pads or if we weren't in pads, this is how I'm going to put. This is what I'm going to do on the field. So I think that's what it was. Just putting the film together and letting coaches know whether we're in pads or not, I'm going to work.
I almost feel like, because I've read the couple articles, one in particular, McFarland, where he talked to Brady Lafferty from Southington, and he talked about how, coaches want to see film. And I understand that, and I get that, and I respect that. But at the same time, not every state is allowed to play football. So
Yeah.
they kind of have to go with what they're working with. And I almost feel like if you're going to penalize a young man like yourself, who, if he could play 11 on 11 right now, we would stop this interview and you go play. But
Exactly.
it just can't happen. So I almost feel like if someone like yourself who's putting out workouts, who's doing interviews and showing, hey, I can do interviews, I'm mature, I can do that. The workouts, I'm willing to do anything possible. If you put that extra effort, I feel like coaches cannot ignore that.
No, yeah. I mean, that's really what like my coach texted me and he told me, hey, do everything you can in this recruiting process because it's different this year. It's not, hey, this is my film. Let me know what you think and emails and they come in. You know what I mean? Nobody's coming in to visit you now. It's different. We're in a pandemic. So it's just taking every opportunity. Like me, when I DM'd you and I asked, if I could do this and you gave me the opportunity, it's a blessing because this is another chance for me to show coaches, okay, I'm mature on and off the field.
And that's the biggest part because I think, looking at, film, I always felt like film tells one side of the story, but
Mm-hmm.
there's always two sides because on the field and off the field, I've talked to and have known players throughout the years of my broadcasting in the NVO who were fantastic players on the field. Off the
Yeah.
field, I never wanted to talk to them. Like they
Yeah.
were rude, they were very immature, and some of them just downright terrible people. But
Yeah.
it's the ones that you meet off the field who it's like when you can mesh both talent and maturity at the same time, that creates a player that makes a fantastic part for a program. And I would think as yourself, if you were offered a chance to be a walk-on at whatever school, I think you
Mm-hmm.
would take that in a heartbeat because you would bust
100%.
your
Yeah.
butt, you would train, even if you got limited snaps your first couple years, I almost feel like building up for that big year, you would be one of those guys that could pop.
And I think, yeah, I just kind of am a guy like that. Not in the bad way, but I am an opportunist. You know what I mean? If I see something where I feel like I can benefit and I can excel, why not? You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
opportunity showed itself, so why not take advantage? Plus, I feel like, going back to what we were talking about for coaches, when you recruit somebody, the film, you recruit a player, but when you come in and you interview him, that's when you're recruiting the person and what can he do for your program. So with that opportunity being gone, stuff like this really helps us. So I just want to say thank you for that as well.
No, no problem, man. Anytime. It's great to be able to have you on and be able to talk about kind of yourself. And, it's great because, I mean, look, the first couple of things I asked you was, where's Bacon Academy? Where's Colchester? And again, I always feel like it's great to get outside your comfort zone. I mean, I'm from the NVL, which is the Naugatuck Valley. So it's like the Ansonias, the Derbies. We're kind
Yeah,
of in
everybody
New
knows
Haven.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's great to hear about like, oh, Colchester, it's a small town, blue collar, such, Bacon
Yeah.
Academy. It's great to be able to hear about different programs and to be able to see like there are other programs out there than just the big name ones. They're all good in their own way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something where, I mean, if you look last year, we competed with NFA. And when people think about the ECC, they think NFA New London. But, I mean, we can compete with these guys. These are the guys that we see in the passing leagues or in the regular season. So, I mean, it's nothing new to be an underdog, especially me just personally. So I think, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. And anytime we get the opportunity to put us on the map, we'll take the opportunity.
Now, going through your career as far as high school football, was it something where you were not the standout guy the first day? Did you kind of have to get yourself and prove yourself from your freshman year until now?
Actually, a funny story is I only started playing football in high school. I mean, youth. I played 1 year in youth, but I feel like that doesn't count. But yeah, I was more into basketball. But as a short guy, I kind of realized, okay, maybe I'm not gonna make it in this. So I switched over to football, and I just kind of used my athleticism and speed from basketball. But I
Mhm.
realized there's a whole different game to it. So sophomore year, and I really was just a return guy, and kind of didn't even do too well. Junior year, I did better. I mean, got my first reception, my first touchdown, things like that. And I really just kind of made a name on the team. And then this senior year, I was ready for a breakout season, putting weight on, I mean, getting a little bit taller and just knowing the game better. And I think this was going to be my year, but, I mean, things happen.
I almost feel like, again, to kind of go back to the college side, the way the game is changing, and I'm sure, I mean, who's your football team? College and
For college, I'm a Purdue fan, Boilermakers, actually.
okay. And what about pro?
For pro, I'm a Giants fan. We're not doing too well.
Hey, it's all right. They're getting better each and every week. But
Yeah.
to go back to the Giants, I think, looking at kind of how your career has been, each week the Giants have played, they have gotten better. And I hope they
Yeah.
beat my Dallas Cowboys because I want them to get the first pick, if not the second pick. They're terrible.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, they're bad. I don't even want to get into it.
The
But anyway,
division is horrible.
oh, it's the NFC least, not the East.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It's terrible. But to go back to yourself, kind of looking at your career, like the Giants, you've gotten better each and every time out. And I kind of feel like with that, plus the fact that the way the game is changing, it's becoming more spread. It's more RPOs, it's more shotgun, it's more wide receivers, empty back sets, 22, 21 personnel, etc.
Mhm.
I feel like for you to as long as your speed keeps up, or even let's say you get quicker, I feel like you'd be an attractive piece because now with the motions and jet sweeps, I mean, look, CD Lamb with the Cowboys, they've used him in jet sweeps before. I feel like that's something that can be used because now you keep the defense out there longer. Now they're having to use more snaps. They're
Yeah.
gassed. By the third quarter, you could run laps around them.
And I think that's kind of what the best thing is that I learned, I mean, just watching Julian Edelman or watching those slot guys who are definitely undersized, but they're workhorses. You know what I mean? They get out there, they make a guy miss, and then they're open and they can do things in space. Nobody wants to see them every single play. So that's kind of what I want to be when I step on the field. I want them to see the number 9 and be like, all right, well, this guy's going to be, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like you said, I mean, if they can use me in any way possible, jet sweeps, slants, deep ball, anything, and I'll be out there.
I think Cliff Kingsbury, if he was still in college, would give you a call. When he was at Texas Tech, because I mean, look what he's doing with the Cardinals. I mean,
No,
everything is misdirections and jet sweeps and motions, and I mean, I saw it personally when he played the Cowboys, and it was just like back and forth. And Dallas's defense is so slow, and look what happened—they got killed.
yeah, exactly. I think, like just like you were talking about the Cardinals, I mean, they took a chance with Kyler Murray and the size thing, and look how much it's opened their offense. Especially like you said, with Cliff Kingsbury coming, like just the new breed of football is different, and it gives so much opportunity to smaller guys or speedster guys that maybe wouldn't have been able to play when they were running the wing T. You know what I mean?
hmm
So
And it
I
helps
think
though
that
too because for yourself, because of the fact that you have speed, you have that quick twitch ability, and that your first step is probably one of the better ones I've seen as far as in film that I've watched over the last few years. I almost feel like because of the fact that with the game changing and with there being less practice time, there's less tackling. So less tackling equals worse tackling. And
mhm.
because of that, and because of your ability, you mesh that and you could really make some defenders look bad because they're not tackling enough.
Yeah, I've seen it. Like, I mean, I've just been watching games where it's like just a regular form tackle that you would make, and guys are busting through. And I mean, if you look at the NFL games, the offensive numbers are crazy, and then the defensive numbers, like, are just yeah, you know what I mean? They're poor. So that's I think kind of what is a blessing now, like you said, is the game has just become so more offensive orientated that it's great for us.
Nick, it's great to be able to have you on. I do have one more question for you. Kind of looking at your career now, potentially in college, are there any contacts that you've had with schools? Was there any leading up to this year? Tell me about it.
Uh, like I said, I wasn't really highly recruited or anything like that, but I've talked to like post grad schools like Milford Academy in New York, and I'm trying to get into junior colleges. You know what I mean? Maybe just give myself more time and more prepared for the college game because I do believe I can play, like you said, like somewhere on like a Division 1 level where they throw me in the slot and I make things happen for the team. So I'm just trying to find anybody really now, like whether it's a post grad, a junior college, or Division 2, Division 1, just to get out there and ball.
Man, I really do believe just by watching the film and being able to talk to you, I really do feel like you have an opportunity. I think you will get one at the next level, and I could see you being a gadget guy, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
No,
I think you
100%.
could be used in multiple ways, no matter if it's Division 1, 2, or 3. I think wherever you go, if the coach can use you in the right way and put you in the proper spot to utilize your speed, I think you're probably a very dangerous player that can really do some damage at the next level.
Awesome. Thank you. That means a lot.
No problem, man. That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent, and I'm on our journey to find them all. Have a good one, everybody, and be well.